President Trump is spreading fear and misinformation in these last 4 days of the campaign. We've shown you this picture time and again, Wolf, at these rallies where you have Trump supporters packed together, not practicing social distancing and not wearing masks. But something very different is about to happen here in Rochester, Minnesota. You can see over my shoulder that they have now set up the seating at this venue for social distancing. The seats are spaced apart. This is unlike anything we've seen at a Trump rally up until this point. But that's a key point here, Wolf. Key point. The Minnesota state leaders are forcing the Trump campaign to do this, knowing full well this could potentially become a super spreader if all of these supporters are packed together. With his fight for re-election hinging on his handling of the coronavirus, President Trump is attempting to pull his supporters into a state of pandemic denialism, falsely claiming that the rising number of COVID-19 cases are due to increased testing.
You turn to the news, COVID, 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 COVID. And, cases are up. Why are cases up? Because we test more than anybody in history.
But that's not true. And neither is the president's other jaw-dropping conspiracy theory that doctors in the U.S. are manufacturing a high death toll so they can make more money.
Our doctors get more money if somebody dies from COVID. You know that, right? I mean, our doctors are very smart people.
The president warns Democrat Joe Biden will shut down the country.
Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Trump going on a limb, calling the doctors out across the United States. CNN is actually pushing the narrative that Trump is pushing a baseless conspiracy about COVID-19. And they're doctors that are prescribing and saying that people have it. And he's only saying the obvious. The real obvious statement here, if the doctors write it up as such, they get paid more. It's a very obvious thing, and you would think the numbers would be a little higher because of it. You're getting paid more, so some doctors are going to be taking it as an advantage. So why in the world do you think that this is a baseless conspiracy theory? You have UCLA and Stanford coming out saying that this is not as bad as what the media is portraying. They're saying, well, Trump was forced to do it. Exactly. There's more testing going on throughout the United States than any other country in the world. If we can't supply it, they can't either. So there's more testing going on, and you're finding out that more people have it than previously thought. But the reality here is that Trump is supposed to be, according to CNN, pushing baseless conspiracies. And we have to say, it's kind of funny coming from the same people that touted the Russian dossier. That Trump didn't have a snowball's chance in hell of winning the election. When is CNN actually right? And you start off this whole entire clip with Jim Acosta. All you have to do is see Jim Acosta and know that it's going to be some type of attack on Trump. And it's terrible how he is with his vendettas. I'm mad at the President of the United States, so I'm going to accost with the Acosta. We actually think his name is pretty fitting. And we can tell that CNN themselves are messing with the like and dislike ratios. Most of the comments in the comment section are overwhelmingly negative, and yet they have 1,000 likes over the dislike ratio. So we know that YouTube and CNN are using their powers that they have, just like Twitter and all these other groups, to basically show you a lie. And CNN, they just keep putting their foot in deeper and deeper in their own mouths. We cannot honestly wait for this pit of snakes to fail even further. And as we get a little bit closer to the election, it becomes more and more apparent that CNN and the rest of the mainstream media have given up all semblance of being unbiased news organizations. It is apparent to anyone with half of a mind that their entire goal is to try to influence the public into their way of thinking. They truly, truly are the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. If you watch this clip, this is pure fear porn. And ironically enough, Jim Acosta at the first of this video clip is going on saying Trump is using fear-mongering. What the hell do you think you are doing? You're fear-mongering our own president. So don't try to say that he's fear-mongering. You're the same group that goes around saying that global warming is a big fat catastrophe, and you've been doing it ever since Al Gore. And those people that sold their properties on waterfront should be pretty mad at you, because none of the waterfront property in America has changed enough that they could have lived there the rest of their lives, and instead they sold it off in fear, preemptively that their land was going to be underwater. So a lot of this global warming nonsense is nothing but nonsense, and it only grants the ability for the rich to obtain land on waterfront that they otherwise couldn't have ever purchased without someone having fear that they're going to lose their land and the value of the land simultaneously. So this cockamamie idea about global warming, it may or may not be real. We happen to think it's not real, but believing that it's not real is somehow not based on science as well. We asked the question, is CNN talking about the riots in Philadelphia? The city's on fire and people are stealing everything. And are you going to do anything about that, CNN? Or is it all Trump news all the time? And we'd like to know, what's your explanation of why flu cases are mysteriously way down? They're not being used to inflate cootie numbers, are they? Seems a little bit like that you're inflating numbers here and there and taking away from this and that. We know of one gentleman who his mother supposedly was sent a letter, and it's all legitimate. There's actually a court case on this now. But his mother was sent a letter, and he read the letter, and the letter states that his mother needs to quarantine and isolate as soon as possible for the next couple of weeks. One big problem with that. His mother died 6 months prior to this letter even being sent, before the COVID-19 ever showed up. She died of COPD, not COVID. So the reality is, people are writing in what they want, and the numbers are inflating. Even if the numbers are inflating, again, we can't get over the fact that a lot of people survive this. And it's fear-mongering at its greatest to say that this is actually some type of pandemic. We know as soon as the election's over, this isn't going to be a big deal anymore. All of the people that YouTube banned and all of the people that Google banned for talking about COVID-19, they should probably reinstate their accounts. What's not popular 5 minutes ago to talk about is now once again open for conversation. Are you going to reinstate those people as well? Those content creators? CNN, you take the cake. We've never seen such biased commentary. This is more than Orwellian. At its best, it's not even that. It's something else worse. You've made it your life's work to go after one person, and he's living in your head. We look back at when we were watching TikTok videos of nurses and doctors having the time to dance around when they're supposed to be taking care of so many COVID-19 patients. They were runneth over with people that showed up there. And this was on the onset when no one had any kind of immunity whatsoever. Now you're talking about people who should have some type of minor immunity to this. And not only that, humanity's starting to get used to it to the point that we can almost deal with it. We know how to treat it, etc. But yet the fear-mongering and the fear tactics go on. We said this a while ago about the World Health Organization, and we're going to say it now. It actually got us kicked off the internet before, and we're going to keep on saying it. If we can't talk bad about the WHO organization, the people who actually put the logic in charge, and de facto is owned by China. And if they're owned by China, China is telling the WHO to tell us what to do. So in essence, we're being told what to do by China. And people don't really like hearing that. The World Health Organization should, by its own capacity, be a logical thinking unit that is without bias. But you can't help but to think, who's mostly paying them now? And are we allowed to talk badly or talk against them? We don't think we're allowed to. We don't think that we're allowed to say anything against the World Health Organization, because if we do, YouTube, Google, they all will attack. Matter of fact, saying the word is getting to be a trigger for their algorithms. Trump wasn't saying anything wrong here. He wasn't lying. He wasn't saying anything that was untruth. Now, the fact people will come along and say, well, we have no actual belief in this because there's no truth in the matter. We have never found any such case. But we do have proof that there have been plenty of people, maybe you even personally know some, that they were accused of some type of case when it didn't add up. And how are they going to be infected when they didn't have the ability to do so? We say go ahead and ask Hunter. Obviously, this is Russian disinformation, right? This group might as well be paid by the Russians themselves to hate on our president. They've done nothing but attack the president of the United States, the people that they claim they are. How much good could this president have done without your constant backstabbing and whining, CNN? And we're going to leave you on this note. When you spend all of your time talking about someone you hate or you don't like, they basically win. And the news media, all of these people have done nothing but stick their foot in their mouth for the past 3.5 years. Unless the Democrats are cheating, there's no way in the world they should beat Donald J. Trump. Anyway, you folks have a good night, a good morning, a good evening, whichever. Please like, share, and subscribe. We really do appreciate that around here. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell. If you don't hit the notification bell, sometimes you're not going to be able to get our videos. God bless each and every one of you. See ya.